ho. That was terrible. So I was planning on seeing this one a lot sooner, but as anybody who lives in Tennessee knows, we had a little issue with Mother Nature Saturday night, and a lot of us lost power. Mine just came back yesterday around noon, and as of the time I'm recording this, there's still like 6,100 at least people without power right now. So I hope all those folks are safe and are trying to stay cool. We're getting into the Tennessee heat. So I wanted to try to see this one a little sooner than I did. But at the same time, I was in no rush to see it. And upon retrospect, I think that first impulse was probably the best one. I know there are people who really love these movies. I know there are. I know there are people who really just love pirates and all things piratey and, yo-ho and swashbuckle and bottles of rum and da-da-da-da-da. And for them, these movies are like their catnip. I have a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, I call her my coffee buddy. She loves pirates. Everything is pirates. Everything's got to be pirate themed. She is to pirates what I am to the Muppets. And that's fine. If that's your thing, if that's the thing you love, then obviously nothing I say is going to deter you. But I gotta tell you, folks, this movie is like the poster child for what seems to be the running theme of this summer's blockbusters, and that is hammering home the already tired premise. Between this one, Fast and the Furious 8, I think, Alien, whatever the hell we're up to, it's the summer of let's beat that dead horse for one more movie. Now there are some films that can last for extended periods of time, can do a lot of sequels, and then there are some that just can't do it, And I think Pirates of the Caribbean, the more sequels they bring out, the more films they do, the more it just kind of proves to me that was a film that should never have had sequels. Because what I tend to try to judge sequels on, in most cases, there are some exceptions, is how far the character or the story advances from where they began to where they end up. And in some cases that's not, you can't judge a film by that. Like for instance, the Bond film. You can't really judge Bond as a character by how much he grows, because he doesn't grow. He's not what he's there for. But you can judge him by the fact, there's a new actor playing him every 4 or 5 films. So in that instance, the character changes. This film series, however, the only thing I can judge it by is how it seems like the characters and the stories have all regressed. And everything that made that first film kind of the charming, really exciting, really kind of groundbreaking film that it was, are now just beaten down and are just so tired and played out. Everybody in this just seems like they are just checking time till they're done, which is what the audience was doing for a lot of it. Other film series, now it doesn't necessarily mean that every film series that has lots of sequels means that they're all great. I mean, other film series, like Jaws and Jurassic Park and whatnot, their sequels are stupid. But here's the thing, they're stupid in enjoyable Mystery Science Theater 3000 type ways, where I can still go back and re-watch them and have a good time, even though they're kind of poo-pooing all over a really great original film. I can't do that with these pirate films. They're too long, they're too drawn out, they're too boring, they're too predictable, they're too convoluted. And again, it seems like everything that made that first film work is just, it's been done so much and done to death that have trouble remembering why it was great in the first place. I mean, let's talk about some. All right, let's talk about the Man himself. Let's talk about Captain Jack Sparrow. You know, this generation's Indiana Jones, and that's a sad statement. Of course, Indiana Jones hasn't ended up too well either. Anyway, as hard as it is for some of you younger viewers to believe, there was a time when Johnny Depp was considered one of the most versatile actors working in Hollywood. I mean, his filmography and the different characters he played, they were all so different, all so unique, physically, vocally, you know, everything about them. He changed. He was a chameleon. And he was kind of the modern day Lon Chaney, and a lot of you don't even know who that is. So, but anyway, you know, he's the man of 1,000 faces. He could do anything. He was basically a very well-paid character actor. You know, and that's what made him awesome. And I'm not going to get into anything about his personal life. All right, I'm not here to judge that. I'm here to judge the movie I just saw. So there was a time when creating a character like Jack Sparrow was considered a masterstroke of acting. You know, the physicality, the weird facial tics, the dialogue, everything about it was just another really cool thing that Johnny Depp has done. But now, one, because they've made now 5 of these damn things, and 2, because ever since that original Pirates movie, almost every big name thing Johnny Depp has done has basically been some weird takeoff of Jack Sparrow. Let's put him in a stupid hat and make him talk funny. That it's all just the character isn't interesting or unique anymore. Also, from that first film, Jack Sparrow always had this thing where, I'm going to use the only quotable line from the Cleveland show, you know, is that you couldn't tell if he was smart or stupid. You know, because he would do things and say things that made you go, okay, this guy's off his rocker, but then you would go, okay, is he just acting that way because it's part of a bigger plan, or what? It was always that, and that was the fun thing about the character, is you don't know. You never knew kind of what he was up to or what was going on in his head. Now, I mean, he's a bumbling idiot. I mean, watch this movie. He's basically a one-man Three Stooges routine. He spends most of the film bopping and bouncing off things and falling and, you know, getting smacked around. You know, it's like Chevy Chase is playing the character. You know. Similarly, I think this film I have a real problem also with this film's antagonist. Aside from the fact that this is the most boring of the Pirates of the Caribbean heavies, you know, the special effects still all look great, but I mean, it's such a dull slog that it doesn't really matter, you know. But they look pretty boring. Unlike every other Pirates film, where each cursed pirate captains or whatever, you know, they should form a union. Anyway, each one's cursed. They explain kind of how it came about and what the basic rules of it are, and they stuck with it. This one, they really didn't explain how the hell these guys came to be cursed. They just were. And then it became a, oh yeah, remember, they can't ever come onto land. You know, same thing from, you know, the Pirates 2 and 3. So, okay, that's original. So they looked boring. They had a boring backstory. And here's the real thing about the antagonist that bugs the hell out of me. So this guy's backstory, this Captain Salazar, his backstory is that he was a Spanish naval captain who was trying to rid the ocean of pirates. Okay? And while in a battle where he's killing off all these pirates, he attacks the ship that young Jack Sparrow is on, and young Jack Sparrow, through Jack Sparrowness, ends up killing the guy and his crew. You know? So now the cursed guy and his crew are after him for revenge. So here's the problem with this, for me, is that of all the pirate heavies, all the bad guys in these movies, this guy is technically the good guy. Because I hate to break everyone's heart, and again, Coffee Buddy, I know you love pirates. I know you love them to death. But we do understand, even the movies don't try to hide the fact that these pirates are not good people. These are not Robin Hood, rob from the rich and give to the poor, or, Han Solo scallywags, just, that lovable rogue who's just trying to, outsmart some evil government and make his way so he can be free and all this bull crap. These were murderers, rapists, and this guy was trying to get rid of them. He is the good guy. And spoiler alert here, in case you didn't know, at the end, the curse is broken. And for an instant, I was like, okay, what they're going to do now, I thought the film was going to surprise me. And they were going to go, okay, now that the curse is broken, the guy is going to be okay with it, and he and his crew are going to go back and they're going to live their lives. They're going to kind of forgive and forget and be kind of like, okay, no, the curse is broken. He's still the bad guy. And it's like, I had a hard time whipping up any, I hope they escape from the guy who was trying to stop pirates who were terrible fucking people. It made the least amount of sense. Even in Pirates 2 and 3, they had the guy from the East India Trading Company, and at least they showed that he was kind of a corrupt little bastard, and his mission to get rid of all the pirates was more of a thing about wanting to make money and be in control and all that stuff. So at least he had an evil Bond villain kind of scheme. This guy just wanted to get rid of pirates, not the bad guy. So yeah. I will say this film, good news, bad news, this film learned from its predecessor, learned from On Stranger Tides, and learned that doing a Pirates movie where Jack has to be the emotional thrust of the film and has to carry the story isn't a good idea. They needed the Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley type characters, the Elizabeth and the Will kind of young lovers, to kind of hold the story up and propel it forward. I always kind of equate it kind of to, if you're like me and you're a big fan of old Abbott and Costello or Marx Brothers movies, if you watch any old Abbott and Costello movies, almost all of them had like this weird boy-girl subplot that was going on, and it almost looked like you were watching two different movies, and that's because, Abbott and Costello were just there to run around and do comedy bits and kind of foil the bad guys at the end. They weren't meant to be the emotional thrust of the story. And that was one of the big problems with On Stranger Tides. So here, they've gone back and they've got two young lovers to kind of carry the thrust. Almost like a Commedia dell'arte performance. The young lovers and the young lovers being the only characters in the Commedia that don't wear masks. So they got two young kids to kind of hold up the plot and drive the story forward. Bad news, and it's nothing against the two kids, and I call them kids, they've got to be in their early 20s if they're that old. Nothing against the two kids, I can tell they're trying their hardest, but these characters are just two of the dullest fucking characters I have seen in a long time. They're so bland and just so uninteresting and so dull. It is, and they're trying. You can tell the two actors are really trying, but they just can't pull it off. They're just, and I think that's just because the script is what the script is. Jeffrey Rush is in it, and I got nothing else really to say about that. Jeffrey Rush is in it. I mean, that's, a film is bad when it has Jeffrey Rush, and all you can say is, well, Jeffrey Rush is in it, and he's playing Barbossa, so, it's Jeffrey Rush playing Barbossa again, and they try, oh, God, I don't want to spoil this too much. I know most people have already seen it, but, they have a plot twist in there that is the most contrived, stupidest plot twist, and such a work of... Look, I understand that part of the fun of these movies is that logic, physics, Rube Goldbergian way in which Jack escapes and whatnot, that, you're supposed to really, really suspend disbelief, really got to do it, you know. But this plot twist demands that so many certain things line up in so many certain ways that it's ridiculous. The minute I realized what they were doing, I was like, oh God, don't do it. Oh, don't do it. Oh, they frickin' did it. I can't really say that this movie is awful. If you like all the other Pirates films, if you're like my friend who is just nuts about pirate films and nuts about the Pirates of the Caribbean, then you're going to enjoy this. It's more of the same. So I kind of equate it, I think, to people who kind of like the Fast and Furious movies. You know what you're getting going, and you're not expecting anything new or different. So, you know, if that's just what you want for your summer popcorn fest, then, you know, great, go for it. Nothing wrong with that. But the problem for me is that it is just more of the same. And more of it. Oh my God, these movies are just painful to get through. They are so long and so drawn out. And then with this one, then the ending comes, like the climactic moments. And of course, to make the film even longer, they do it in slow motion. So, you know, that's great. So I just, a premise can only go so far, a concept can only go so far, and sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you can get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 films out of it, and before people really start to catch on. And other times, people catch on about the second one, and I think that's the thing with Pirates. And here's my other question about this, while I'm kind of stalling for time as I, head home. I can't understand why this movie exists. Why does this movie exist? I do not understand it. The Pirates franchise is dead, folks. It's been dead. It's been dead for a while. You may try to convince yourself that no, it wasn't that long ago since the fourth one, but let's face it, that movie was DOA. And most of us felt our passion for these films die somewhere around the opening credits of the third one. You know? So why the hell does this film need to exist? Now, I talked with Matt about it. He went and saw the film, and he says money, which is the easy answer. But here's my thing. Disney's got all the money. Disney has Pixar. They've got their animation studio, their Princess franchise, which is an arm of that. They've got the Star Wars franchise. They have the Marvel franchise. They've got all the franchises. You know, and I understand. I understand. I hate it, but I understand why 20th Century Fox drags out another tired-ass X-Men movie every other year. It's the only franchise they've got. You know, so they're trying. They want to keep it alive because if they don't make stuff out of it, then the title reverts, and it's the only long-term franchise they've got. I would understand if Universal or something tried to do this, but Disney, this movie goes into the same category as their live-action remakes of their animated films. Why? What possible reason could there be? And I don't believe it can be a quick cash grab, because these movies, for how long they are, how elaborate they are, how many freaking special effects artists you need to do them, I can't imagine these films are cheap. So, I mean, really, and for the return they get, I mean, I don't know how well this one's done. I don't really pay attention to that kind of thing, but I mean, I don't understand why it exists. If I'm being honest with myself, I can't say that this was an awful movie. I've seen worse. I thought Alien, whatever that one was called, was worse. But I can't say it's good because it's just you know what this movie is? This is the film equivalent of, I think I compared Alien to this too. It's the film equivalent of a television show that's been on the air for too long. You're recycling plots, the characters aren't growing, you're just running in place, and yet the network just keeps renewing it because it wins its time slot. You know, it is essentially a film version of The Simpsons at this point. You know, and just like with The Simpsons, they say that this was the last Pirates film. Of course, they do a post-ending teaser, you know, in case they want to do another one. But, you know, they say it's the last one, and for the love of God, I hope it is, because, you can't drag this premise through it anymore. It was a great movie. The first one was great. It was original. It was new. The characters were fun and energetic, and the storyline was fascinating. The special effects work was mind-blowing. The fencing and the sword fighting was all harkened back to the old days of Errol Flynn and all that. And since then, you've just been watching it slowly sink to the bottom of the ocean, which is where it's at now, and it's where this film franchise belongs. So yeah, that's my opinion of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Which also, okay, one last thing before I go. I'm sorry, I just remembered this. So, first of all, that title is false. Because the dead man in the story did, in fact, tell a tale, a long one. He monologued. They do this, and they do a flashback scene, you know, to young Jack Sparrow, which I talked about earlier. And the whole time I'm watching, it's like, why are we taking the time out to do this monologue? It would have made so much more sense and been so much better if they Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade it and put that part at the front of the movie as like the title bumper or whatever. You know, anyway. So that's me. So anyway, yeah, the dead man in this movie actually did tell a tale. So right off the bat, the film is lying to you. So anyway, so we're getting into the summer. Things are getting a little tighter. It's weird. I'm looking at the release schedule. Not a lot coming out. I guess I'm gonna have to go see Wonder Woman, which I'm not really looking forward to, just because, you know, I've seen all the other DC movies, so I know kind of what their standard is. But you know, maybe there'll be some good smaller pictures coming out that I can go see. But anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope that for those of you who have been without power, that power is coming back soon. And until next time, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.